Thank you very much. The fact that I've just been called a presenter really kind of raises the bar here, so hopefully it's good. I'm Mike, so I'm head of DAX Content Partnerships, and I'm going to talk about emerging audio formats and why they need to be part of your content strategy. So I'm just going to use the clicker. So just a bit of background about DAX. So we launched DAX in 2014 to enable brands to access digital audio programmatically at scale from one platform. And as far as I'm aware, we were the first in the industry to do it. We had 3 goals in mind at the time. One of those was to offer the best audio content to the market, both from global owned and operated properties, as well as third-party publishers, the best data, and also the best targeting capabilities. And since then, obviously, the audio space has massively evolved. So radio already really established, streaming as well. Since then, podcasting, smart speakers, social audio, audio articles, and gaming have all become part of the mix. So as part of that kind of change in the industry, it's been really important for us as DAX to move with the times. So last year in October, we acquired Remixed, which was a company that turned the written word into audio files. Then we also acquired Captivate back in November last year. So that was to enable us to offer podcasting at scale, both to our own podcasts as well as third parties. We've also invested in the Global Podcast Network, which is a collection of shows from both global produced as well as third parties, and we monetize those as well. And just to show how we're trying to pioneer in the space, we also invested in Odeo this year, which is a platform that allows advertising across mobile gaming. So why does this matter to publishers? So there are kind of few reasons why audio needs to be part of your strategy. It's clear that quite a few people in the room are already thinking about this, but one of the key things here is new audiences. So audio is a space to find new audiences within new environments, helping you to increase your brand footprint. Revenue is also really important to commercial businesses. So incremental revenues can be had through pre-roll ads if you're using something like audio articles or podcasts. Also increasing page dwell time, leading to longer sessions and more revenue. Another kind of real thing that a lot of people are trying to think about right now is social responsibility and accessibility. So audio increases the accessibility of your content. It enables wider reach and also contributes to your social responsibility. And then there's the ever-present problem of digital multitasking. Audio is a lot more immune to multitasking and the effects that that has. It's a less intrusive format that can be consumed at the same time as other mediums and formats. So a few stats really here about audio is, according to Ofcom this year, podcasts now reach 25% of the adult population on a weekly basis. And another fact for you, there's also the revenue angle here as well. And this is from last year, and I can't really confirm what this year is looking like, but I'm sure it's probably closer to the 73%. So more than 55% of advertisers are already investing in podcasting. So there's significant revenue out there. And if you're not already looking into audio as part of your strategy, you're clearly missing out. So it's all well and good saying the money is there, and that you need to invest in the space, but how do you actually do it? How could that look in practice? There are a few levels really here that you can look at it. First level here is repurposed editorial content. Sorry if anyone in the room is here from The Guardian. I know you do a lot more than just one podcast. But a good example are the long reads, turning one regular editorial piece into a podcast. That can be done in multiple ways. It could be through actual produced content as a podcast. I'm going to talk about our audio articles product a little bit more as an example of how you can actually action this. There are other publishers like Sky out there that are a bit further along in that journey, have created a suite of podcasts around their linear brands featuring their talent. Then there's also the option to become an audio-first publisher. Now, one thing to note is that anybody can be an audio publisher now. Audio-first is a choice. If you're a smaller publisher, podcasts can be a key focus, and a really good example here is Tortoise, who last year you might remember from their hit podcast suite, Bobby. They now have a full suite of shows. There you go. So the kind of next phase, if you want to kind of put this into action, is to look at options. So DAX, as I mentioned, acquired Remixed last year to offer the audio articles product to the market. What that can do at the very basic level is on page turn a written article into a piece of audio that can be consumed. Now I've got a video on here. I'm not sure if it's going to work, but let's try anyway. So this is it on page. The user clicks a button. The user clicks a button. The user clicks the button. I think what we're going to have to do is take my word for it. It sounds really good. It sounds really amazing. And the next level as well is we also have a AI voice cloning product as well, which really, really takes it to the next level. It sounds like actual human voice. We use this with the LBC audio articles, which we've now actually turned into a podcast. And that takes no work. It literally pulls it from the website, turns it into an audio file, and then releases via RSS feed in a subscribable podcast, which is really, really great way of doing this. But the key takeaway for this really is that this tech just presents a really low-lift opportunity to enter the audio space if you are just starting out, which, as we've established, nobody here is. Great. So you can take it to the next level as well. So some publishers have already built upon this, as I mentioned Sky earlier on, by creating new formats around existing brands. So Sky have continued to invest in this space, and we're really fortunate to work with them. They're great. The whole point here is that they're monetizing their show through DAX, using spot ads, host reads, branded content opportunities, and still looking to develop further content alongside their existing brands, and have done a really, really great job of it. So there's also another angle, because obviously we've just launched this podcast. I don't know does anyone listen to the news agents in the room? Has anyone listened? Okay, that's good. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. So other than just being a way for me to kind of brag about some great content that Global have produced recently, the fact here is that podcasts are now just a source of news in their own right. It's not just about traditional publishers. News can be consumed through audio in their own right. So that's recently why we launched the News Agents, hosted by Emily Maitlis, John Sopel, and Lewis Carroll. So the idea here was for it to be a source of impartial news, talking about news stories of the day that other outlets might not be talking about. And it was great because they immediately charted at #1 and have remained in the top 3 ever since. So to summarise here, really, the key takeaways are that new formats mean now that audio is really accessible. Anyone can be an audio publisher. Podcasts, audio articles, flash briefings, they're all low barrier to entry formats. Now, they do require investment, but less investment than traditional formats like radio, where you need a license. Audio revenues are also incremental and enable publishers to reach new audiences at scale. It's low cost and effective at its most basic level, but it can also be taken to the next level if you invest the right kinds of resources in it. So, like I say at the end here, it's still important to invest properly in audio and combine it with a strategy that contributes towards your overall business goals, whether that's reaching new audiences, better return on investment for existing content, or also seeking new revenues. So I think that's it. Thank you very much.